guys. Welcome back to the show where we sit down with leaders and innovators who are reshaping how we work, build, and create. In this episode, we are welcoming a guy, Ronen. Guy has been pushing the boundaries of how technology and creativity intersect. As COO of Arcana Labs, they are at the front lines of exploring how AI can expand what's possible for storytellers and creators worldwide. So in this episode, we will explore what it means to treat AI not as a replacement, but as a creative partner. Welcome to our podcast.
Hey, Marcelo, great to be here and thanks for having me.
Well, first, let's jump into that dilemma. You have spoken about AI as an enhancement and not a replacement. So why do you feel that narrative is so important right now, especially for filmmakers and other creators?
It's a good question. AI is a big headline, right? We're using AI in so many different domains in life. Let's stick to entertainment. Let's stick to creativity and creators. Dealing with that AI is basically another crayon in your tools. It's another lens. It's another tool to enhance, to lower the barrier, to give you more tools to create. And our domain dealing with entertainment, we're quite sure that AI is still not here to replace us. We still need the storytellers. We need the creative people. We need the visions of creators to create something that actually moves us, makes us cry, makes us laugh. It's not like, jumping on a AI driver on a taxi and getting you from point A to B. That's probably could do that better than human beings. Dealing with art and storytelling, we definitely still far away from AI replacing people. We need people to tell the story, and AI is another tool to enhance their stories, to actually lowering the barrier and give them more tools.
Great. That's really good to hear. And I was checking that Arcana Labs made the headlines with the Echo Hunter, and it's SAG-AFTRA. I don't know if you say like that collaboration.
Mhm.
And how do you see like ethics, fair pay, and keeping humans in the loop, shaping the future of creative AI? And can you tell us a little bit more about this collaboration?
So yeah, Echo Hunter were something that we did as a proof of concept back in the days. Back in the days, it was like I think 7 months, or 7.5 months. That was for us a first like a proof of concept. We wanted to show that we can blend between AI as a tool to enhance creators. So obviously we had Kevin the Kid as a director. We wrote a script. We did a traditional post picture, post sound. And we use obviously SAG actors. With at some extent, no one forced us to do that. We wanted to do that. We wanted to show that we can blend real actors and their, likeliness into an AI production. We want to show that although we did that in 3 weeks and in a friction of a cost, we still, acquiring talents to help us do the post. We did the editing, we did the sound, we did the color as a post, and we want to show a proof of concept. Since then, Echo Hunter took us like 3.5 weeks to create. We can probably do Echo Hunter today much better and in like 3.5 or 4 days, not weeks. Again, this is enhancing tool, not replacement.
That's great. Yeah, that's great. And I started watching the short, and then I had to jump in a plane. But I think it was really nice. I have to, and maybe
Sequel. There's an Echo Hunter 2 right now, a sequel.
Oh,
Go watch it. It's on YouTube. Amazing. With a collaboration, Kevin collaborate with Kling to do that. Again, the stories continue to evolve. Super interesting. And again, at the end of the day, we are like artist-driven AI and not AI-driven art. We want to give this tool to creators to create with it, not to replace them.
yeah. And talking about creators and people, could you please share like examples that inspire you, like of people using these kind of tools in surprising way?
So I think the answer cut into two. Surprising ways, we saw a lot of people that actually been limited on the ability to design. Actually, we discussed with like a jewelry designer and glasses, like, eyewear designer and things like that, that actually showed us how can they create something from scratch. We even saw an event photographer that showed us what he can do with AI, actually work with Arcana. We were surprised. Hey, this is an event, photography. We never thought about lending AI there because there's obviously real people. You don't need to make anything. And still, it blends AI in such an amazing way. Long story short, we kind of onboard him as an instructor in our academy. But I think the most touching stories were to see people that would never had access to create anything, definitely not in Hollywood. And just by the fact that we're lowering the barrier and giving everyone the opportunity, people that could barely afford a computer, and they are amazing creators. So we're kind of supporting young creators from India and Taiwan and South Korea, and we're encouraging them to create with Arcana, and the results are amazing. Such a huge talent. No one said, like, I'm sitting in LA in Hollywood, but no one said that talent pool supposed to be here in Hollywood. It's spread all over. I think it was Bill Clinton that said, talent spread equally, opportunity not. And that's exactly the line of business we are in, giving the equal opportunity to everyone. You don't need to be based in Hollywood to create a movie. Not at all.
Yeah, that's really great and inspiring. And talking about education and accessibility and the points that we were discussing, you have highlighted that training and lowering barriers to entry as key. How is Arcana Academy, and maybe you can tell us a little bit more about the academy? How is it helping creators to gain confidence and the skills to work with these new kind of tools?
Yeah, for us, education cut into two avenues. First of all, explaining exactly what as we're doing right now, that AI is not a threat. That's not the enemy. It's an enhancement tool. It's not here to replace you. People that are going to use AI will replace people that refuse to use AI. But AI by itself not going to replace anyone. Okay, it's not a tool to replace people right now, only to enhance. So that's the first type of education. We're encountering that quite a lot. You'll be surprised about people that, afraid of tech. That happened with, in the past with heavy machinery, that happened with computers. A lot of big changes evolved with people that saying that's going to ruin the industry, that's going to take our jobs. And okay, so that's the first line of education. The second one is actually showing people that onboarding AI platform, specifically with Arcana, that is making, the combination of different type of models and workflow quite easy. But even with any AI engine, it's not that pretty, it's not that complicated. If you can envision that, if you can imagine that, if you can express yourself in just like a few words, you can create that. And that's the pipeline that we try to do with Academy. At some extent, we're helping a lot of clients to produce. We're producing for them. We're training them. But we definitely think that we need to democratize that. It's getting easier and very streamlined on a daily basis because the model is getting more easier to handle, and AI getting more controllable, if you want to call it like that. Back in the days, like we're talking about a year and a half ago, and still today, AI is not 100% controllable. You can find funky stuff, six fingers and things like that. It's getting better every day. And also the ability to control the AI and create something that is aligned with what you envision, it's also getting better every day. So that's the effort that we're doing in Academy, to onboard on the platform and show that this is not something too complicated. That being said, going back to the first avenue, we're still educating people about the fact that AI is not the enemy. So it's two different lies. We're trying to address both, but it's a challenge.
And Guy, how much time would you say if for someone that maybe is into tech but would like to try being a creator, like if they jump into the academy, how much time would you say that it takes for someone to learn how to use tools like that, like this one?
So even without Academy, jumping on board Arcana, trust me, my kids, like, they're not even 10 years old, jumping on Arcana and starting to create. That being said, you need to have the creativity, the mind, the patience to start and think, how do you want to tell your story and create things, get more experience along the way. It's easy and self-explanatory. That being said, I'm seeing a lot of creators that starting their first move into AI, jumping on Academy, taking just one course, usually 5 to 6 sessions of like 20 to 40 minutes. And they finishing those sessions and said, oh my God, I got so many tools and I'm starting to create very like amazing assets and clips and movies and everything. So we see a huge jump on people that are taking a very simple course. We're not talking about weeks. We're not talking about days. We're talking about a few hours, right? So it's really self-explanatory and easy to onboard. The Academy is really supporting a lot of creators, but put that aside. You got a creative mind. We're seeing a lot of people that switch between traditional production or filmmaking or even marketing into AI, and it's very easy for them because they got 10, 15 years of experience. Now you just need to translate that to new tools. So nothing is mandatory. This is a very self-explanatory domain. It's very easy to onboard. At the end of the day, you're describing what you want to create, and the machine and the computers are actually creating that. Easy as that.
That's really cool. I encourage people to try these kind of tools because it's amazing the result.
Yeah, I think it's it's not just amazing, it's also addicting. I'm seeing people like saying, okay, I'm gonna just try that. And then after like 3 or 4 days, listen, I smoke a few packs of cigarette and a few, dozens of coffees, and I finish my trailer in a 2 days. And 2, 3, 4 minutes of of emotion, picture. It's amazing. It's very addictive, and it's so satisfying to see things that only you envision. And right now, they're like alive on the screen.
Yeah, that's really cool. And you told us in this podcast that you were getting a lot of people from Asia and South Korea, stuff like that. But I've been following you, and I know Arcana is expanding into Latin America and the Caribbean as well. And why is this global dimension so important to the company? And what do you see emerging when local stories meet like new AI capabilities?
It's a great question. I think again, dealing with AI, we want to democratize this domain. You don't need to be in Hollywood to make a movie with AI. That's the big advantage. We're lowering the barriers, so you can be all over. So for us, expansion is a part of our strategy. We want to deliver this tool and democratize those tools to everyone. Definitely not just to the US. We just came back from Mexico and Latin America, and it was amazing to see the openness of people in our organization to say, yeah, for sure. A lot of people are afraid of AI, but you're seeing less and less barriers when you live in the US. Maybe it's something that's connected to the, news and a lot of things that like mentioning that AI going to threat about something or going to take something. So it's less intimidate when you live in the US. And for us, it's amazing. That's the first, advantage. The second is, hey, we are democratizing everything. Why do we need to stick to specific geolocation? Again, I mentioned that at the beginning. Talent was spread equally around the globe, and just the opportunity in that. So to see an amazing story, unique stories, we're always looking for hunting for those interesting and unique stories. They definitely not, supposed to be here in the US. They're all over the world. When we're seeing a young adult in India telling his story in AI, just like, crazy. It's amazing. When we're seeing people in Africa starting to use AI and telling their own stories, people that could barely afford buying a computer, some of them sitting in a library with a computer, not even their own computer, and creating something. Think about it. We're actually giving the voice to everyone to express themselves. And again, good stories are spread all over the place. And I think that's the combination of, obviously, we're not limited to a specific geolocation and talent that's spread all over. That's what motivates us to spread our capabilities and platform all over the world.
And thinking about the future, and I know things move really fast in this kind of business. How do you see Arcana in the next couple of years?
In AI, it's so tough to envision years. I'm thinking in months and not in years. But I just thinking about the last 6 months and see where are we right now compared to 6 months ago, and it's just crazy. So definitely years, it's very hard to predict. I will say that in the next 12 to 18 months, the models and engines are going to be so simplified and streamlined that you're barely going to see a lot of differences. Right now, by the way, even us that we're working with, big producers on our own production, we're not dictating or mandating about like, hey, it's supposed to be 100% AI. So basically, we like to see the blend. We like to see 80-20, 50-50, 60-40, any blend that worked for the specific production. Any genre bring different requests or demands, right? Doing an animation, you can still do 100% AI. Doing photorealistic, maybe not. Sci-fi, yes, you can go closer to the 90%. So that's what we like to see. And that's what we think going to be solved in the next year or 18 months or year and a half. I think it's starting to be photorealistic in a level that it's really very similar to actually real life. I think capturing emotions in actors in AI are still a huge challenge and controllable. AI is still on the 85% controllable. Okay. Getting into, new models of video to video, and this is something we're investing quite a lot right now in Arcana. It's something that's going to simplify this process because at the end of the day, you can use real life, actors and embed any kind of a characters on them. But we're still trying to see the photorealistic capability getting better, AI to be more controllable, and capturing, emotions and things like that. This is still a challenge in AI. If those three will be solved in the next year and a half, I think we're going to see mass production in AI and also very fast results. In today's world, you don't need to set your ID with a deck and hope that the people in front of you will understand your concept. You can just show them the concept. Hey, here's a 2 or 3 minutes with the people that I thought should be in this production. And you can envision that before I'm even leaving my computer or leaving my house, right? So that's going to be the future. We can discuss about how production in AI is going to look like in a year or so. We do believe that it's going to be reverse engineered. So sitting on an AI platform like Arcana, producing everything, the full show, the full feature, putting that on a big screen, and then looking at everything and saying, scene number 4, scene number 15, scene number 80, I want to change with real, traditional shooting. So you're going to do everything in AI, going to look at that and say, I'm going to replace those 5 scenes with real shooting and go out to shoot them. Okay. So kind of a different. Today, you're kind of shooting everything and think if you can blend AI, VFX, CGI. We want to turn around this ball totally.
That's really amazing. And I think you already touched the point about the breakthroughs that you think should happen in creative AI for this to expand. And I would like to know, what advice would you give to creators that are hesitant to embrace this kind of tool?
I think first and foremost, try those tools. Experience, play with them. Knowledge is power. If you do not know what you're talking about or don't know what's in AI, how can you advocate against or in favor of AI? How do you know if you want to blend that? At the end of the day, this is a tool to help creators, any type of creators, by the way, marketers, PR, designers, anyone. If you refuse to use that, you don't know what you're missing. That's totally okay not to use AI, but teach yourself, educate yourself. What's in AI? How can you use that? If it's working for you, bring you the benefit, keep working with that. And in any blend, you don't have to do 100% AI. And if not, don't use that. That's totally okay. But at least understand what's in there. I'm just meeting so many people that are afraid of trying. And I think that's the key, factor here, that they not even try, so they don't know what they're missing. So my only advice is to educate yourself and try. Put yourself hands on. I'm saying that with a lot of creators. You don't need to tell anyone. There's a lot of people that said, that's amazing, I'm using that, but I don't want to be this, the tip of the spear and saying that, I'm leading the revolution. That's okay. Don't tell anyone. Try it. Understand if it's good for you. Teach yourself, educate yourself. We're talking a lot with universities and educational institutes, and they still talking in the jargon of like, the students will graduate and then they will find position where they will apply to a job and they can use AI. And I'm always stopping them there. They don't even need to apply to a job. They don't even need to look for a production. They got an idea. They can be start creating from scratch on their own. They can be a solopreneurs. They can be in a company of a one-man company. Okay. That's the advantage of AI. If you want to open a marketing agency from your, bedroom, you can do that with AI. You can produce in mass. You don't even need to find a position or a job if you're talented enough. You don't need to find next production to take you or hire you. You can produce your own stuff. That's the main difference, between how people think that it's a tool that can serve them in their finding job. No, it's a holistic tool that can give you almost everything if you're creative enough. Just start create.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it with me, Guy. But I think it was a really interesting episode, this podcast, because it touches a lot of people. Like anyone can start producing something if they are creative enough. They can even do it for fun. Like look this video that I made. So I would encourage people to go to Arcana site and try these kind of tools, because you can produce and you can live with stuff like that. But even if you don't, it's it's pretty fun and pretty interesting. And so I would encourage people to do that.
Yeah, the use cases are endless. Just jump on board and start create. You can do whatever, right?
Well, thank you very much for your time and for your openness, Guy. Hope to see you in the States. I'm flying next week, so maybe we can get together for a coffee.
100%. It was a pleasure being here, and thanks for having me. And go try Arcana, arcanalabs.ai.